G'day, guys. Early in the morning on a Thursday day in Hobart. Just got out of bed and I was thinking about Haiti last night, and I'm going, I need to make something about it. I need to let you guys know where the next US invasion is going to happen and how they're actually organising and preparing for it. So let me share my screen. Sorry about that. Shabbiness. Anyway, all you need to do is just you get 4.6 million results. All you have to do is a simple Google search like Haiti, CNN, and what do you get? You get all the sort of bullshit there. Cholera returns to Haiti as nation lurks from one crisis to another. Rape has become a weapon for the Haiti gangs, says UN. They forget about all the violence in America by the extremists. But anyway, and we know who we're talking about now. I can't mention their name because otherwise, it could affect this video. Critical Haiti gas terminals freed after weeks of talks. This is when American forces, because remember earlier, US deploying delegation to Haiti amid security, sort of issues. UN chief, who's a puppet of the US, urges nations to consider deploying force to help Haiti. They're not there to help. Tini Guterres is one of the biggest little puppets of the World Economic Forum and all that. He's just like that with Klaus, He's the deep state's man in the UN, the Secretary General. The government asked for international military assistance. Really? And all this sort of thing. It just goes on and on and on and on. Biden administration drafts UN Security Council resolution to support. Didn't go anywhere because most of the other countries, the BRIC countries and many others, go and say, we know what you're on about. You're not going in there because you care about the population. What are you doing in Syria? You're weaponizing Al-Qaeda. Yeah, the US is weaponizing, giving arms to Al-Qaeda, and you're controlling regions, and then you're shipping out shitloads of oil. It's an oil war. They're in there and basically stealing Syria's natural resources. That's what they're doing. This is what they're about to do here as well. What are the major natural resources of Haiti? Haiti is a Caribbean nation located in the Great Antilles archipelago. The nation shares an island with Hispaniola, which the counterpart Caribbean nation of the Dominican Republic. I won't go into all those details. Haiti's natural resources, oil and natural gas. That should tell you everything. So we'll just read part of it. A recent finding has shown that the nation of Haiti might have some of the largest oil reserves in the world. Got it? The oil reserves are estimated. They could be, let me just zoom it up a bit. It's in the morning, amateur time. The oil reserves are estimated they could be larger than Venezuela. Nations that are found close to the Great Antilles, such as Puerto Rico, Cuba, Dominican Republic, and Haiti, are estimated to be sitting on natural gas of about 159 billion cubic feet and oil of 142 million barrels. It is also estimated that the uncovered reserves could hold as much as 941 million barrels of crude oil and natural gas through thought to be about 1.2 trillion cubic feet. Areas through thought to be rich in oil include Central Plateau, the Bay of Port-au-Prince, which is the capital, Thomond, and Côte des Plaines. It's French, all French to me. Daniel Mathurin, a French scientist, has compared Haiti's oil reserves to a swimming pool compared to those of Venezuela, which he likened to a glass of water. Here's a French scientist who probably has done, work in the region, looking at, he's probably one of those people that works for mining company and energy companies and goes around doing exploration sort of research for them to work out what the reserves are of different areas. So whether it's useful to actually exploit those resources, well, this guy would know. And swimming pool, so they got a size of a swimming pool compared to Venezuela's a glass of water. We're talking about a lot of stuff in comparison. So this guy thinks they're even more than what are actually being estimated. So 20 oil sites have been already identified for the potential drilling, with 5 of them being considered crucial. Scientists have supported the likelihood of massive oil reserves in Haiti since it has been found that the area where tectonic plates meet in the oceans often hold huge amounts of hydrocarbons ready for exploitation. It is thought that the earthquake that shocked the nation recently could have allocated oil to seep into the fault lines. Scientists of various companies are currently studying the fault line from Port-au-Prince onwards, try and find areas with unexploitable deposits that are ripe for drilling. At least 3 million barrels have been discovered in what is regarded as shallow formations just off the nation's shore, which will still be within their territorial limit. The oil trade journal of 1919, however, suggests the oil was discovered in the nation of Haiti long before the current oil rush in the nation. Got it? There's a current oil rush in the nation, but we know who it's going to. It's going to, basically Uncle Sam on the cheap. They're just going in there and taking it, pretty much. And they've got their goons that are running the country. The people of Haiti aren't going to get anything. They're going to get nada. But, the imperialist from the north, they will definitely take most of it. And Uncle Sam will support them. Remember, Uncle Sam's virtual signaling nowadays. Nothing at home. We won't exploit anything at home, but we will plunder every other nation's resources because we need them. We're desperate for them, but they won't tell you that. I mean, well, you saw a few desperate acts of desperation. Oh, let's go to Venezuela and beg for oil. Oh, let's go to Iran and beg for oil. Great allies of the United States. Really? The oil deposits are expected to boost the nation's economy. No, just the coffers of the very wealthy in North America, and improve the living standards of the nation's population. Oh God, that's a killer. That's a killer. Yeah, which still has to suffer through poverty. What can one say? And they got gold. They got copper, and these are very important. Remember when we were talking about the windmills and solar farms? Need shitloads of copper, and not enough, for many years. I'm not going to read that. I'll leave the link for you guys. I'll just show you guys where it is. There's Haiti. There's Cuba. There's Jamaica. There's Puerto Rico over here. There's the Dominic. Let's zoom out a bit so you guys can get a bit of an idea of where we are. Okay. Oops. Just a bit in. So there's Florida. There's Cuba. There's the Bahamas. There's Jamaica, Puerto Rico. There's Venezuela. The exclusive economic zone is the exclusive economic zone would be like this. It has to be the middle line. So it'll be comes down probably about here. That would be the Dominican Republics. There'd be less oil here. The oil fields are in this area of Venezuela. And so this is the epicenter of oil and gas. Got it? That's how what they're saying. And Venezuela was a big oil producer in the past. And if they're saying there's a glass of water in comparison to a swimming pool, we're talking about in this area, unexploitable resources, all this area here, there's massive amounts of hydrocarbons, massive amount of oil and gas. That's why they're there. That's what they're trying to exploit, and that's why they're trying to get out. And the rebels know that. That is basically why they went and grabbed oil terminals and tried to secure, because they know their natural resources are going and being ripped off, being stolen at this moment by Uncle Sam. Well, Uncle Biden, to be more precise. But that's the people who are doing it and are justifying a war to you to say, we need their stuff. That's what's really happening. That's the real story of this country. Zoom out again. You can see there's the US, there's Mexico, there's Florida, there's California over there, and you can actually see, there's Texas, just to get a bit of an idea what we're looking at. Arizona, New Mexico. Anyway, so you can see from here to here, probably the full extent of the Gulf is that probably is along the coast here, Louisiana, Mississippi, trying to remember now. And you can see that this whole area, because remember, it'll be the middle. Oops, let me zoom in. It'll be the middle line. So this will be their exclusive economic zone. I'm approximating, because it's always the middle line of the law of the sea. So it's quite a big area here. And when you look at this part here, which was the oil fields, it's about similar area of what Venezuela had in the past, this sort of area, in comparison, that they had their oil fields. And we know that Venezuela was one of the big giants of oil production, and in those old days. And these people could actually supply oil and gas in very similar amounts. That's the real take home. That's the real story, guys. That's what's really happening. And they're going to move in there and invade that poor country, and they're going to slaughter as many people as required to get their oil and gas. That's what's really happening. And the militarists, because I say, the B and the L and the M's of this world, that's what you're supporting. That is what you're supporting. You're basically attacking your own people, virtual signaling, and then your military and Uncle Biden is going in there, killing those people and taking their oil and gas, because you're virtual signaling back home and saying, no, we're not going to do any of this sort of stuff. but Uncle Sam's going to go and get it, so you could actually stay in your kibble coon and basically have your, play on your iPod online and all that sort of stuff. So you've got the energy, so your lights stay on, even though you're paying expensively for them, because you've got to pay for the war. I mean, they have to get it somewhere, So since you're not prepared to produce it, they're going to get it from someone else, and they're going to basically make sure that they knock off as many of those people there, because they're in the way. They're actually resisting the exploration of those resources. Yes. So that's a real backstory about that part of the world. It's all about oil and gas. It's all about energy. It always has been. Most of the wars are resource-based wars around the world. Yeah, they're not benevolent. CNN will tell you, all of these atrocities, we have to go in there. That's the backstory. That's not the real story. That's the sort of the propaganda. They're getting you conditioned. We have to go and save those people. No, you have to go and take that oil and gas. That's the real story. Anyway, guys, see you. I better get in the shower. Oops.